Primed and ready for a postseason push, the Bishop Montgomery Knights can't go much further than they did a season ago. But the jump from second place to a first in CIF is a hefty assignment. And speaking of avenging last year's bad memories, the South Spartans still have dirt in their mouth after North swept them a year ago. What will the North-South rivalry bring us on the diamond this year? Plus, we meet a student athlete set for college ball, but for now, he's leading the charge for a playoff-bound Tartar squad. All that's coming up right here on the Sports Desk. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week on the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Wan Hernandez. Today, we start things off on the volleyball court at Bishop Montgomery High. The South Bay is a volleyball-rich region, and while the Knights are known near and far for basketball dominance, Kevin Norman has brought his boys back up to par over the last few seasons. But the jump from SoCal Regional and CIF contender to champion is a big one. Now, the only question left is if they're ready to make it. Colin Kushner has that story.
Senior Justin Arevalo got his team pumped up on senior night as Bishop Montgomery defeated St. Monica in their final home game of the regular season.
I think we came out a little bit flat, but took care of game one, kind of let them hang around in game two, and got the win. But I feel like the momentum kind of went their way a little bit at the end of that game, even though we won that game.
We actually struggled with our ball control, but overall we actually played well as a team. We stuck together, and through our ups and downs, we still managed to get through it, and we ended up with the win. So I'm proud of my teammates, and it's a great way to end our last game here at home.
Last season, the Knights lost in the CIF championship game and the Southern California Regional Championship game. But with playoffs right around the corner, they look to take the next step.
We have to put in the hard work and dedication, and with that, we can achieve what we want, and we could go far, just like last year.
Just the same things we do in practice. It all starts with fundamentals, hitting, passing, serving, and, if we just stick through it and fight hard, we could definitely go far this year.
Just like last season, the Knights are loaded with experience. They have 13 seniors who will look to graduate with a nice ring on their finger. From Bishop Montgomery High School, this is Colin Kushner reporting for the Sports Desk.
Thanks for that, Colin. The Knights closed out the regular season with a matchup on the road against Cathedral. Cathedral and Bishop, the only teams to beat one another now, so they will share the Delray League title. The only question now, whether or not Bishop's awarded the first or second seed in their CIF playoff bracket. Meanwhile, over in the Pioneer League, the South Spartans continue their season. 2 more league wins added to the W column last week. They did play 3 non-league opponents as well, but right now it's first place in league thereafter. Wins over North and Centennial on the road set the Spartans up for a shot at first place when they wrap up the regular season early this week against El Segundo, the only Pioneer League team to have taken them down. We will have the story on that matchup when you come back to see us next week. Okay, everybody, before that, we've got more to show you this week. Next, the Saxons and the Tartars hit it off on the base paths, softball's most heated rivalry, when we come back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Get out to the forest.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah!
Woo-hoo! Hey, guys, wait up!
And discover the wonders of nature with your family.
These trees are the key to our way of life.
Fresh air.
What a glorious morning!
Clean water.
Woohoo! This is great!
An endless forest adventure.
Let's rock this jungle!
Yo, this is untapped territory.
How amazing!
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Hi, welcome back to the Sports Desk. Up now, we take a trip back into the rivalry between North and Torrance softball squads. We've talked about them already plenty this season, especially with the Saxons' high-ranked, high-potent run through a TNT championship week in March. Rivalries never die here, and when both these teams are on their A-game, which is the case this season, there's even higher stakes. Valerie Ortega is with us for that story.
North played Torrance in a Pioneer League matchup that consisted of an atmosphere that could only be between two rivals.
It's just a great atmosphere for everybody, players, coaches, fans. I mean, you see the gathering here. It's just, especially at night, it's awesome to play these kind of league rival games at night. It's just fun.
It's really intense. I feel like we always do more than we usually do at these games just because we just feel like we need to win all the time. I don't know, it's really intense.
It's really high intensity because we've been playing not so good teams during the week, and they're our rivals, so we had to come out and play.
It's pretty intense, especially since it's a night game and everybody comes out to watch. So you feel pressure, but you try not to let it get to you.
The Saxons came out strong, scoring 2 in the first, which set the tone for the rest of the game.
We definitely talked about it. We talked about yesterday how it'd be good, when you're the visiting team, it's nice to jump out in front and put a little pressure on the home team.
It felt really good to be able to come out and my bat's working for me, especially because I was able to contribute to that, so it felt really good.
With this win, North not only defeated the rival, but they stay undefeated in league in hopes of continuing this kind of play through the rest of the season and into the playoffs.
I know the seniors, they want to push hard to take first place. This is their last year, so that's always a big thing for the seniors. We just want to, continue to play well, stay healthy, and, playoffs is in a few weeks, so you want to be on somewhat of a roll going into playoffs.
It's important because it shows who's the better team, and I feel like North deserves it. We do really hard, we try really hard in practice, and we do our best, and this is really important to us.
In this neighborhood matchup between rivals, North's offense put them on top, and they continue to stay on top of the Pioneer League. From Wilson Park, this is Valerie Ortega reporting for the Sports Desk.
Thank you, Valerie. So the Saxons come out of their matchup with Torrance on fire. They needed every bit of it for a busy week. They get 2 Friday night Pioneer League games at the end of the week, and Gundo ends a 7-game winning streak for the Saxons, handing North that first Pioneer League loss this season. The Saxons get their shot at revenge in 1 week, so it's not the end of the world for North in the league title hunt. In fact, the victory for El Segundo probably a bigger deal for the Eagles than it was a blow to the Saxons. That game snapped a 9-game winning streak by North over El Segundo that dated back to 2009. Meanwhile, Torrance bounced back after their loss 7-0 over South, then a weekend trip down to Orange County. The Tartars earned themselves a nice little 2-game non-league sweep over Edison. They enter the week sitting in that 3rd and final playoff spot for the Pioneer League, but they get a matchup with now first place El Segundo this week. Now it's time for a quick jump into the Bay League, where the hunt for a baseball title is getting hotter than ever. We saw the West Warriors start off the season cool, then got to get on a serious hot streak through most of April. So, where are they now? With just a few weeks of league play left and a handful of series under their belt, it was time to check in. Wrapping up their 2nd league series split in a row, the West Warriors' newest trend against Bay League opponents is starting a pre-CIF buzz.
Well, at this point, we're at that point in our season where our guys are starting to get into their groove, and we just have to put it together. We got to get the pitching and defense to work with the hitting and so forth. But for the most part, we feel good about where all our guys are.
When the Warriors dropped the first of 2 against first-place Peninsula, only to take the second back, they got a major confidence booster that kept them in the league race. Against Redondo the next week, a home loss here in the first game provided the same setup. Again, one step back before taking a giant step forward.
We had a couple key players that went down for a little bit and stuff, so it was tough for them to, go down and then come back. A couple seniors that, that we relied on, key players. They're back with us now, and they're figuring it out.
So, what's all this add up to? After the third league series for West, all but one of the Bay League's 6 teams are within striking distance of first place. The problem? Only 3 are guaranteed a playoff spot.
I'm telling them that you can't take a pitch off in league, and it's one of those things where everybody, from game to game, your back can be up against the wall and stuff, so you got to fight and you can't take things for granted. And more than anything, you got to make sure that you're mentally in tune with the game and not give the other team outs or extend innings, to your pitching staff.
Battling injuries, missing key players, and looking for rhythm. Technically, they have rhythm, but lose one, then win one isn't exactly what they want. The Warriors have their work cut out for them, but their series split habit promises to make the sprint to CIF pretty interesting. Looking at that series split with the Seahawks, you saw the loss at home that featured multiple lead changes. They made the long 2-block commute on Friday night and didn't let it go this time. They score all 4 of their runs in the 5th to jump ahead of Redondo in the standings. Up now, an evenly matched series with PV, followed by closing it out against last place Lusinger. Their playoff fate will likely be on the line in that final week of league play. Not everybody is still looking forward to the postseason, though. The El Camino Warriors finished out an up-and-down regular season with one last chance to get into the playoffs. They win the play-in game against Mount Sac. A low-scoring pitching duel landed them in tournament play. Best of 3 series for the SoCal Regional Playoffs. Elko, the final seed into the postseason, and a date with top-seeded Orange Coast College. They knew they'd have to play them all on the road the entire postseason. Well, OCC does them in without needing that 3rd game, putting an end to the Warriors' baseball season. Okay, everybody, we got time for just another break. We've still got a little more baseball for you when we come back.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Something's not right.
My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes.
My legs, sometimes they'll go numb.
Double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Well, the beginning is the hardest time.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
I had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
I was a dancer. I don't see walking the way I walk any different than doing a dance. It just looks different. It's a different dance.
You see me have an off day, it doesn't take away from who I am.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
But I would exercise every day.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
To make a lot of changes in my life and just adapt to it.
I'm going to acknowledge its presence. I'm not going to discount it. But at the same time, I'm going to try my best to not let it stop me.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.